It is time to finally build that God Squad. Stay frosty and head to buymaddencoins.com for the cheapest, fastest, and most reliable MUT coins on the market. I'll even help you shave off a few bucks. Use code DIRECTOR at checkout for 20% off. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Okay, so my last Madden video, we were talking about these new Powerup extension promo players. Okay, so these cards that maybe some of us never thought would get an upgrade throughout the rest of the year, you know, getting a bumpage through their Powerup card. And I've talked about how I really like the idea of that because it keeps every card in the game semi-relevant. Every card in the game that has a Powerup item has a chance of getting up to at least a 98 overall. Maybe they do bump it to 99 overall at some point. So in this video, I kind of wanted to go over every single team in Madden Ultimate Team and who I think deserves an upgrade from each team. And it should be a good one, guys. I think every single team has at least one Powerup that should see a bumpage at some point, you know, with this promo. And it would be nice to see more than 6 of them released every single week because I know there's a lot of cards in the game that do need this upgrade. Well, before we get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, bell notification help me out a lot. Let's get into this video. So really what I'm looking at here is this post. There's somebody that's been putting together, you know, all the theme teams throughout the entire year. A Jones 7304. Excellent work on this post. It's been very, very consistent and very, very helpful to a lot of people creating theme teams in Madden Ultimate Team. So let's start up here with the 49ers. Taking a look at the Niners roster, they're one of the more stacked in the game this year. I'm sure there's not a lot of people complaining as far as Niners fans and how many, you know, weapons they have. Their defense looks absolutely insanely incredible. This is a really, really nice team, but still has a couple players I think that are eligible for a Powerup extension. Ronnie Lott, I think, gets the Ultimate Legend, but I think if I were to choose one guy, it would probably be their new acquisition, Trent Williams. Definitely deserves an upgrade. 94 overall. I think through the Color Smash promo, I can see him getting a new card pretty soon. Next up is the Bears, and I think the Bears have a couple of players. They need help all over the field. You know, their offensive line is okay. You know, their offense is pretty decent. You know, they got that new bumpage with Alshon Jeffrey today. So they're probably looking a little bit nicer as far as the receiving weapons. Defense looks all right. Adrian Amos definitely in the conversation for a Powerup extension item. Akeem Hicks, definitely one of those guys I can see getting an upgrade. Maybe Eddie Goldman. Those are kind of the guys I'm thinking for the Bears. But one that I don't see here, probably like a Tariq Cohen. I can definitely see him getting a Powerup extension at some point. But the Bears looking pretty good right now, especially now that they've got their Cordell Stewart in there at quarterback. He fits the meta. I feel pretty good about that. So that's who I'm thinking with the Bears. Next up is the Bengals. Kevin Zeitler could definitely use an upgrade. Andrew Whitworth, holy cow, I would definitely see him getting an upgrade. That'd be really good for you Bengals fans. You can just, you know, put him over at right tackle. He would be just fine over there. But your offensive linemen definitely need a couple upgrades there. Garrison Hearst, too, I failed to mention on the Niners theme team. He could definitely be part of that. We see a lot of theme diamonds. If you ever see a theme diamond, you know, that's maybe lacking a new card, I could definitely see them getting one with the Powerup extension promo. And then on defense, as far as Powerups, this one's a little bit tougher. Maybe William Jackson, who I did point out in my last video. So a couple of good ones for the Bengals, but I think you guys need more Powerup items, period. Next up is the Bills. Definitely Mitch Morse hasn't seen an upgrade since the MUT Heroes promo. Get him an upgrade there. Playoffs card. Who else are we looking at? It's a Powerup card. Marshawn Lynch would be a huge one. David Singletary, that's not a Powerup. That's a playoffs card. That's too bad. But the rest of these guys on defense, maybe Tremaine Edmonds would be really, really cool. He'd become one of the better, you know, users in the game if we can get him up to 99 overall. And then here at the rest of your defense, everything looks pretty good. So that's who I would say. You got a couple offensive linemen, and then Marshawn Lynch would be pretty fire as well. Next up is the Broncos. The Broncos, Matt Paredes definitely could use one. The remainder cards down here, Clinton Portis possibly. And then Bradley Chubb is probably my pick for the Broncos. I think he's definitely in that conversation. Probably a Justin Simmons as well. But not a bad theme team. That's who I think for the Broncos. Next up is the Browns. Kevin Zeitler once again. Probably a good pick right there. Jamal Lewis would be a pretty good one. Also fits on those Ravens theme teams. On defense, I think the biggest one I wanted to see an upgrade for was Myles Garrett, and he got one. Other than that, maybe Joe Hayden would be a great candidate for that too. You guys see Joe Hayden over here. That would be a great card to get a Powerup extension promo. So that's who I think for the Browns. The Buccaneers. DeMar Dotson could use one. I like OJ Howard a lot. Rob Gronkowski, I do see him getting another card eventually in the game. Chris Godwin, Vita Vea would be pretty fire, actually, getting one for his, crazy out of position halfback card. And then on defense, you guys are looking pretty solid as of right now. Michael Bennett just got that upgrade. I don't know, man, your defense looks pretty solid. Probably, Aqib Talib is probably in that conversation as well. The Cardinals, Marcus Gilbert could use a power-up extension. The rest of you guys look pretty nice. Maybe Anthony Sherman, again, with those Chiefs as well, will look pretty nice. Edgar and James, when he gets to 99, it's going to be a really nice card, too. On your defense, everything looks pretty solid to me, man. Maybe a Dwight Freeney power-up extension. He would fit on my theme team, too. He'd be really nice. And then Antonio Cromartie, man. If he got a 99 overall, he'd be pretty nasty. So that's what I think for the cards. And here we are with the Chargers. I think the Chargers, definitely Larry Little is in the conversation. I really would like to see Austin Eckler up to a 99 overall. We only have one wide receiver power up in the entire game, and it's Keenan Allen. I think maybe at some point him too. But really the guy I think the most on the Chargers that would make a lot of sense, it would make sense for Vikings and Giants fans as well, as probably Linval Joseph. And again, Antonio Cromartie right there. That's what I think of the Bolts. The Chiefs, there's Mitch Morse again, definitely for him. Rodney Hudson getting the upgrade today is pretty important for this theme team too. Anthony Sherman. I think there was a guy on defense I like to see, maybe Bobby Bell. Eric Berry, dude, that's the guy that I was thinking of. There's a couple of guys on here too, maybe a Justin Houston, but I think Eric Berry, such a big, personality as far as people knowing his story and stuff in the NFL. I think if I had to choose one, it would be Eric Berry for the Chiefs. The Colts, Anthony Costanzo, I think, is my choice for this one. Left tackle, he's one of the better in the league. Definitely get him up to 99 overall if we can. And then T.Y. Hilton is the other pick I have for them. One of the better wide receivers in the league. I don't know why he's still a 95 overall. Marvin Harrison's probably going to get a card at some point. And then your defense looks really solid too. So that's going to be my pick. I think the big one for me is Anthony Costanzo. Next up on the Cowboys, Travis Frederick's probably the most deserving that doesn't have a great card at this point. Offensive linemen are people too, everybody. Ezekiel Elliott's probably going to get a new card at some point. Michael Irvin's probably going to get a new card at some point. Jalen Smith would be a great card to get up to 98 overall. Leighton Vander Esch. You guys got a couple of choices on here. I can definitely see a Sean Lee getting an upgrade at some point as well. And then on your defense, you just got Michael Bennett. So I would say if I were to choose one, I would love to see Jalen Smith the most. Next up is the Dolphins. Larry Little definitely in contention for me one more time. Devontae Parker, Kenny Stills. I think two great wide receivers that could definitely use a bump through the program. And then on your defense, I think it's mainly going to be those two guys for me, dudes. Maybe Xavier Howard's a great example as well. Xavier Howard, definitely get him a power-up extension. That's my choice for the Dolphins. The Eagles, Jason Kelsey, definitely probably the most deserving on your offensive line. I've already talked about Zach Ertz in my last video. Definitely, he's probably going to get another card if I'm being quite honest, though. Brian Westbrook would be pretty nice, too. I can see a Golden Tate. Alshon Jeffrey just got the bump today. Deshaun Jackson would be so nice to get a card. I want to see Miles Sanders get a new, like an actual power-up item, because I loved this player last year. I'd love to see him get an actual good card in the game. Then your defense looking pretty good down here. You just got Michael Bennett once again. Maybe Asamoah at some point too, but I think that's my pick. I think the one guy I would choose out of everybody is probably Deshaun Jackson. I think you guys would really enjoy that card. Here come the Falcons. All right, the Falcons, I think Devontae Freeman's in conversation for that. On defense, this one's pretty tough. You guys have a lot of, Keanu Neal, I think definitely. Keanu Neal is probably my choice on defense too. So if I were to choose one out of all of these players, it would probably be... I think definitely Keanu Neal. I think you guys would definitely benefit the most from a strong safety upgrade. The Giants. This is actually a pretty decent theme team this year. Kevin Zeitler's not bad. Definitely get him an upgrade at some point. Victor Cruz, I think, is one of my favorite wide receivers that nobody uses right now. Get him an upgrade would be pretty nasty as well. Keith Bullock's guys got the upgrade. He's getting a golden ticket here very soon too. But I think the biggest one, the same as my theme team, would definitely be Linval Joseph. His stats are a little bit weird, but he plays so well against the run. He's a really good candidate for that. So I'm going to say Linval Joseph for the Giants. I talked a little bit about the Jags in my last video. I think the biggest ones you guys need are on defense, and I think it's going to be Telvin Smith, who definitely is probably not going to get another card. He didn't play this year, but he's a really good MUT item. I think you guys would enjoy him. And then on defense here, John Henderson's probably my favorite card on your guys' team that doesn't have a good upgrade. The Jets, very simple one for me. I think it's going to be either Chris Johnson, who's probably going to get a card, or Avery Williamson. I think Avery Williamson is probably the guy that's not going to get another card that deserves an upgrade. That's what I'm going to pick for the Jets. The Lions were a little bit tricky for me. I think the one that's not listed here, Golden Tate, probably makes the most sense. But on defense, the guy that makes the most sense to me is probably this Trey Flowers. That would be actually a pretty nice upgrade for you guys. You can go ahead and bump him over to left end. You guys have a pretty nice defensive line at that point. The Packers, an interesting team right here. I really like the Packers, actually, this year theme team. It's a pretty nice team altogether. I would say David Bakhtiari is definitely better than a 96 as far as the league is concerned. Amon Green could definitely get an upgrade here as well. I would say probably the biggest one for me, though, was on defense, and I think it was your defensive end, Mike Daniels. Mike Daniels could definitely go up to 98 overall. Your guys' defensive line's already really stacked, though, so I don't know how much you would need him. I think, personally, most Packers fans would love to see an upgrade to Jaire Alexander. He's a very good cornerback when he's top tier. And then, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, but I do think he gets an upgrade here very soon at some point. He's got the best release in the game. So, yeah, Packers theme team. Really like it, man. The Panthers theme team. This one's pretty easy for me. I think that you got a couple of guys on your defensive or your offensive line, Paradis and Gross over here, that could use upgrades. Your wide receivers look this is a pretty decent looking team, especially with that Cam Newton. Just can't imagine what he would look like with that golden ticket up there. And then on defense, there was one guy that really stood out to me that needs an upgrade, and that is going to be Dante Jackson. How cool would it be to have a Dante Jackson, maybe even a Charles Tillman? I think Tillman does get the bump at some point, and then maybe, you know, a Kawan Short or Chris Jenkins. So I can see a couple of Panthers coming out of the Power Up extension promo. The Patriots. Now, there's a few on here. The Patriots have quite a few that I think get upgrades. David Andrews probably the number one for me. He's definitely a better, you know, center in the league. He only has a 91 overall powered up. And then your fullback needs an upgrade as well. Maybe Sony Michel, he does have a power up too, but you guys are looking pretty good at halfback, especially when Corey Dillon gets a new card. And then on defense, there's a couple. Dante Hightower, I think, is a well-known name that could use one. And then Jason McCourty, what is he, a 90? He's a 98 overall, so maybe Akeem Hicks or something like that as well, and a Trey Flowers. So quite a few on the Patriots, I think, could get an upgrade at some point as well. Next up is the Raiders. You guys just got your Rodney Hudson. That was probably the biggest one that you guys needed out of this promo. Maybe a Dante Culpepper at some point for you guys too. I do not see Antonio Brown getting a card at any time in this remainder of this season. You know, Mike Jones possibly gets one as well. And then on your defense here, defensive tackle, John Henderson, probably a big one for me too. Tracy Porter and Amdi Asamoah probably get one as well. Next up is the Rams. I think Andrew Whitworth is criminally underrated right now. 90 overall powered up. He needs a 98. I feel like it's probably the best one on your team. As far as what I'm choosing, but if I had to choose another one, it would probably be either John Johnson, who's pretty decent in the league as well. You know, LaMarcus Joyner is pretty nice too, and then Marcus Peters is probably gonna be my pick here. He's a really nice item. You know, I think he deserves an upgrade. Went to the Ravens, absolutely shined over there, so that's probably gonna be my pick for the Ravens, or excuse me, the Rams. And speaking of Ravens, let's take a look at the Ravens theme team. You know, Eric Williams could probably get one. Matt Burke probably could get one as well. Jonathan Ogden probably gets a new card. He's one of those right tackles that everybody loves. Other than that, maybe an Anquan Bolden can get one. Again, not listed here. Actually, he wasn't on that team. Scratch that. Then on your defense, Matthew Judon is a huge one for me. Tony Jefferson's a huge one for me. Oswar isn't a power up. Brandon Williams could get one. You guys have a lot, actually. Michael Pierce definitely in the conversation for me as well. So one of the better theme teams this year, but they still have a lot of room to grow via the Power Up extension promo. The Redskins, a shockingly good theme team. Jordan Reed's probably going to be my choice here. You guys need another tight end. He's really good when he's a top tier item. You know, Trent Williams, definitely another in that conversation. You have a pair of golden tickets in here. Terry McLaurin. Ooh, that's tough, dude. I'm probably going to choose Scary Terry. He's absolutely an animal out there when he has a good card. Deshaun Jackson, we talked about on the Eagles. Clinton Portis probably gets another card here really soon. Defense, Ryan Kerrigan just got the bump there. I think you guys are looking pretty good on the defense here. But really nice theme team. I think criminally underrated. A lot of people don't realize how good the Skins theme team is this year. Next up is the Saints theme team. You know, Teron Armstead could use one. Who isn't an NFL playoffs card in here that could use a bump? Maybe Emmanuel Sanders, but he's already got a pretty nice card. Kenny Stills is probably a huge one for me too. Maybe even a Brandon Cooks. Mark Ingram possibly as well. I don't know, man. This one's pretty tough. You guys have a pretty nice team. Rob Ninkovich at some point. And Akeem Hicks has been coming up a lot. And then maybe Marshawn Lattimore at some point, too. He's a really nice player that I still do think deserves an upgrade at some point as well. So that's who I think for the Saints. The Seahawks. A couple of guys I like on this as a pick. I think your guy, Marshawn Lynch, would be a huge item. People would love that. You guys already got really nice wide receivers. On the defensive side, a guy that's not listed here that I'm pretty sure has a power up, it's going to be Shaquem Griffin. I think that'd be really fun for a lot of people to use in head-to-head. And then you guys got the other guys that I mentioned before, you know, your Michael Bennett's, your Dwight Freeney's and stuff like that. But a really solid theme team at that as well. I think the Seahawks are also maybe flying a little bit under the radar as some of the more elite items in the game. The Steelers, a couple easy choices for me here too. Marquise Pouncey, Marcus Gilbert. Definitely that offensive line is going to look really nasty. I think both of them are huge candidates for an upgrade. Your wide receivers look absolutely spectacular. On defense, the defense, I mean, look at this linebacker core. It's absolutely ridiculous. I would say if there was one guy on your defense that would definitely say needs an upgrade soon, there's actually a couple, I should say. Joe Hayden, great candidate. Cameron Hayward, great season, still doesn't have a great card. I would definitely put him in there. Stephon Tuitt as well. And then Devin Bush is probably my pick as far as the one I want to see the most. But man, the Steelers theme team, oh my God. Next up is the Texans. Funny enough, you guys got Lamar Miller. You got some decent halfbacks. I think David Johnson would be really fun. You got your Kenny Stills out here as well. Not listed here is, oh my God, Deshaun Watson, director. And I think a lot of people would prefer him over these other two options. And then on defense, Benardrick McKinney would be a good one. Other than that, I think your defense is pretty solid. Maybe a defensive tackle at some point too. But really, really nice. Jonathan Joseph and AJ Bouye be nice options as well. Titans theme team is interesting. This one stumps me a little bit. I think Derek Mason over here, I think it would be pretty nice card. You guys are going to get a Chris Harris at some point too. And then your defense, I think Avery Williamson is the only one that really points out to me that needs an upgrade. Your guys' defense is pretty good as well, but kind of shocked to see, you know, maybe this is incomplete or something. Not seeing, you know, a lot of these empty spots throughout the entire roster, but, you know, not bad. That's who I think for the Titans. And finally, the Vikings. The Vikings, Dave Casper. I would think he would be awesome out there. Gets an upgrade. You know, Matt Burke out here, really nice too. As far as the rest of your offense, Stephon Diggs is pretty big. I know those Bills fans probably want to see him out there as well. Hopefully we didn't skip the Bills. I don't remember reviewing the Bills here. Let's take a look at the rest of these teams, the rest of these players down here. Linval Joseph, probably the biggest one on defense that you guys need. Daniel Hunter and Everson Griffin, really, really nice items too. So you guys let me know in the comment section below. Yeah, we got all of them. Just a kind of a long video. Let me know in the comment section below if there's any guys that I missed. Obviously, there are some power-ups that weren't represented in the theme teams created on Mutthead, just because, you know, some of their positions, they just kind of get pushed out. So there's probably some guys that do deserve upgrades that weren't listed on there. Let me know who that would be in the comment section below of who you would want to see on your team get the bump. Kind of a longer video today, but I wanted to make sure every single team was represented. So give us a like and sub if you do enjoy these kinds of videos. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been the Director, and as always, stay frosty.